Hey guys, welcome to Juicy Tea, where I read out the best stories on Reddit, so you don't have to. The funny, shocking, and satisfyingly juicy. Am I the a-hole for saying I won't kid swap over the Christmas holiday? Posted by Kid Swaps. I, 32 female, have a brother Charles, 38 male, who has a girlfriend Claire, 35 female. Claire has a daughter Ruby, 8 female, who has additional needs. This will be relevant. And I have a daughter B, who's 4. We're all, along with mine and Charles's parents, gonna be going on a family holiday over Christmas. Claire was originally not bringing Ruby as she was meant to be staying with her father, but her dad is a flake and cancelled, so Claire is now bringing her. For context, Claire loves my daughter, which is great. She'll volunteer to babysit her unprompted, and whenever we see her at events, she always wants to play with B. I don't need babysitting as I'm a stay-at-home mother, and my own mother is nearby for emergencies. B loves her and it's nice to see, but it is noticeable how she'll spend the whole afternoon fussing over B, even when me and my husband are perfectly capable of looking after her. But again, she's great with B, so we don't mind. A couple days ago, Claire and I were texting about what to pack for the trip as I was lending her some clothes. During this, I sent her a picture of what I was packing for B, to give her some idea of what Ruby would need, and Claire said she was really looking forward to seeing B. She then suggested for a couple of days during the holiday we do a kid swap where we babysit each other's kids for the day. I was immediately not keen on this idea as I've only met Ruby twice and I know nothing about her needs or how to properly look after her. Also, I come on holiday to spend time with my child, not to farm her out to other people. I skirted around the issue saying we could definitely do things together, but Claire kept pushing me to agree. She wanted her and Charles to take B for the day to go ice skating. This back and forth went on for a while before I finally said, "No, I'm not letting you borrow my child, you already have one." Claire said I was being unfair and that she deserves a break and to have an enjoyable holiday too. She then said she didn't want to borrow my clothes anymore and stopped texting me. Charles is now saying that she's very hurt that I won't let her take B out and that Claire adores her. I said that's not the point. I'm not comfortable caring for Ruby on my own, and frankly, I find it a bit odd that Claire's idea of taking a break from parenting involves babysitting. Charles says that I'm being dramatic and that babysitting Ruby for a few hours doesn't need a degree and that should just help Claire out. Now I'm wondering if he's right. Am I the a-hole? Is it just me, or does it kind of sound like she wants to swap kids permanently? Am I the a-hole for putting my foot down and not adding my husband to the deed? Posted by The Brown Hamster. Background. I, 29 female, have known and been with my husband, 33 male, for the past 4 years, married for 2. I started working when I was 21, right after my bachelor's degree. After 2 years of working, I bought myself a house. Nothing fancy, I bought the land and built the house. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-floor house. Wow, you bought a house after 2 years of working? What the hell do you do? The construction of my house finished in 2019, before I met my husband. He lived in a different country, so when he visited me, I took him to see my house. I'm very proud of it. It's something I built with my own money. I own it, however small. After our wedding, I moved to the country where he lived. We split our bills and rent equally. We both work in IT and earn pretty good money. So, we're planning on buying a house together and we found a place that we liked and can afford. We're putting both our names on the deed because we're both paying for it. The problem arose when he said he wanted his name added to the house that I bought by myself. I'm not comfortable doing that and I said so. He said it's unfair that I now have 2 and he only has part of one. I said that was his bad for not buying a house before. I bought that house before I even knew he existed and with my own money. Since he had no contribution to it, I'm not obligated to make him feel good by adding him to the deed. He then called his family. While his sister and brother-in-law support me, his mum and dad said that it's not about money, it's about the togetherness and it should be for the both of us or none. I said, I'm sorry, but that's not happening. He will never be on the deed, even if he pays his share, which he and his family think he shouldn't because it's ours, not mine or his. Because I know how much I struggled to buy that house and make it happen. Now his mum and dad are saying I disrespected them by saying this. Am I the a-hole? Expressing a boundary isn't disrespectful, and it's concerning that they would say that. Edit 1. Both of us are from the same country. We're on a visa in a different country and we work there. We're planning to buy a house where we work on visa. We're allowed to do that. We're planning to stay for 5 more years at least, so buying a house is logical. In my country, we don't have a prenup culture. I did tell him earlier that this was mine and I wouldn't ever give it up to anyone, unless I'm dead, in which case it will either go to my kids, if I have any, or to charity. Edit 2. Because someone pointed this out, my husband's family has generational wealth. I don't. He's never depended on me for anything. We're married because we love each other. It has nothing to do with money, at least not in my case. Edit 3. I'm sorry if it looks like I'm entitled when I said that I bought the land from my dad in a comment. I did buy it for him real cheap, but I paid off all the construction costs, material costs, and labour all by myself. I even plastered and painted the walls myself when I was a little low on money. I cut the tiles myself, mixed paint, and watered the cement. So hell yeah, I'm proud of and have emotional attachment to that place. Buying a house is a huge accomplishment, particularly these days. OP should be super proud, and I don't blame her for wanting to hold on to it. Down in the comments, Not Yet Effing Problem says, you have a serious husband problem. First, no, it's your house. He didn't contribute anything to it, so no, don't add him to the deed. But second, he called his family to push you into what he wanted. Yeah, this was a bit of a red flag for me too. It's weird to think it's fair when he contributed nothing to it and then goes to his family to pressure you into something you're not comfortable with. God, some people are just so demanding. Oh, by the way, don't forget to subscribe. I'm leaving my husband without telling him why. Our next post comes from the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit. Posted by Deleted. I found out that my husband was planning to have an affair with a woman from his company that works for another branch. They both visit each other's branches twice a year. They've been flirting for 6 months and were going to sleep together last Friday when she was here. I sent my husband a picture of me in new lingerie about an hour before her plane landed. He was supposed to pick her up. He had already told me that he was working late and then going out with his colleagues for drinks and not to wait for him. I wrote that this, was his dessert after the lobster pasta I was making. He loves lobster pasta. He was home within the hour. When we were together, he said he was glad he chose to come home. Instead of working, you mean? I should hope so. Yeah, I mean, of course, he said. I don't have the energy to confront him or tell him that I know. I don't want to hear excuses and apologies. The lease is in his name because I moved into his apartment when we got married and we still haven't found our home that we've been saving for. So at least I don't have to worry about that. Our savings and joint accounts are easy to access and divide, and I can do that the day before I leave. I found a subcontract today on an apartment for 12 months. If I get picked, I can move in on October 1st. Then, I will serve him with the divorce papers and tell him the reason I'm leaving is that I'm bored with our relationship and I've fallen out of love. I think it's better that way. Down in the comments, OP explained how she found out that he was planning to cheat on her. It started with a lot of pop-up ads about hotels on our iPad, combined with him being busy and texting more than usual. I became suspicious, so I went through his phone. They've been talking all summer about meeting for sex. She lives a 3-hour plane ride away, so now I know why he was searching for hotels in our and her city. Update. I just signed a new sublease and I'm leaving my husband at the end of the month. I'm so happy I found my new apartment. I feel like I've been born again. I felt nothing but pain and despair for weeks. Now I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm still resolute to just leave and not tell him the reason why. I think it's the only way I can cope with the pain without losing my mind or my dignity. Many have asked, how would that make me look? Honestly, I don't care. Those who love me unconditionally, and those who judge me, is their opinion really worth it? Update 2. I was fortunate to get the keys on Thursday, and I've been discreetly packing my clothes. Yesterday, Friday, The moving truck came and took all of my stuff to my new place. I changed my address to my parents' address because I don't want my husband to know my new address if he googled it. When I was in my new apartment, it looked gloomy and so tiny. I just broke down crying. I postponed my tears and now I could finally feel safe to be vulnerable. During dinner, my husband started bombarding my phone because I'd left him a note saying that I was done with our marriage and had filed for divorce. My plan was to never speak to him again, but today, after a million messages and missed calls, I folded and answered him. He was very confused and in a total panic. I just kept saying that I wasn't in love with him anymore and that I was bored in our marriage. He was confused and begged me to come home and explain. Then he started trying to find other solutions. Maybe I was bored with my job or our apartment. Maybe we could move and start anew somewhere else. I couldn't hold my tongue and just said, yeah, maybe we could move to the city where the other woman lives. That would be very convenient for you. He was silent for a second, then asked what I meant. You know, because the main office is there and you'd have a better chance to advance your career. Silence again. He then said, listen, I don't care about my career now. I care about you. I love you and I can't lose you. He will do anything to make me happy. I said the only thing was that he left me alone and understood that it was over, because the sooner he realized it was over, the better. Then I hung up. I think I need a new phone number because I don't trust myself not to answer him again. I was so disappointed in myself for talking to him when I'd already decided not to. My parents-in-law have called, wanting an explanation. I just said I wasn't in love anymore and wanted an out. They're both confused. I don't want them to know the real reason. I'd rather have them confused than feel sorry for me. Or worse, try to explain his behaviour and ask me to forgive him. It's better this way. I don't think there's any need for lawyers. We don't own anything together, and we don't have children. I've already taken my half of the savings, and I was never on the lease for his apartment. I've already sent the divorce papers to court, and with or without his signature, I'll be divorced. In 6 months if he signs 2, or 1 to 2 years if he refuses, and I submit a new application every 6 months. Remember, I post new content every day, so subscribe for more juicy tea.